today in the kitchen / living room. I want to talk a little bit about the master's program, and this is a great reference book about sports nutrition for health professionals. This is what we've used in the master's program, so I really recommend this. It's got a lot of great information in here. I'm going to explain a lot of great tips and help with understanding nutrition. But first of all, nutrition is very complex because there's certain things that it's good for this, but it's bad for that. And everybody's situation is different. And always consult your doctor to make certain that medications or anything that could be affected by your condition. You need to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. And that's key is finding what works for you, because not every program is designed for everyone. But there is certain basics or certain foundations that you can follow, and if you'll stick with these little tricks of understanding,
it's in your house, it's usually in your mouth.
It's all about portion control. It's all about finding the right balance of not having too much fat, bad fat, but having the good fat, having the right carbs, not having so much sugar, simple carbohydrates, having more complex. And same thing with protein. You can only have 25 grams of protein in each meal that your body can take in before it starts storing it. And so watch your protein intake too. So there's a lot of little tricks of understanding that how much protein, how much fats, and how much carbs. 50 to 70% is what you should be taking in daily, 50 to 70% of carbohydrates. You should be taking in about 10 to 25% of protein, and then about 20 to 35% of fats. I'm here today with Mike Robinson, assistant strength coach here at CBU. He's an ex-athlete basketball player, so can you share a few things with some health tips? We're in the master's program, by the way, so we're working on the nutrition. Exactly. Classmates, been buddies, shoot around, hoop it up. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about nutrition.
I had a decent understanding of nutrition and what it meant to eat as an athlete coming to CBU, but I think when I got here and I started taking more nutrition classes as an undergrad, and then also just diving into more information and detail myself, I really started to understand what worked for me. And so I think the thing that a lot of athletes miss as an athlete who plays and competes in a sport year round is eating during season. I think is probably one of the biggest deals, when you're trying to gain strength and you're trying to improve mass and put on muscle.
It's all about finding the source and finding what's good for you. And like we've learned in the class also about, sometimes you need foods for synergistically to work to be effective. Sometimes you need foods that are gonna combining fruit and say protein. But there's times where you are certain foods but want to just say, hey, I need my body to utilize this separately and this separately. So there's other things. Right. Can you, Mike, you mentioned because that's the thing too for novices and beginners. A lot of times when you say I know it's hard learning, okay, how do I know what an ounce is? How do I know what, breaking it down? Can you explain a little bit about?
Yeah, so portion sizes can be tough. When you think about ounces, if I put my hand in my palm to make like a cup, right? This is normally about 2 to 3 ounces, right? So that's a good way to whenever you go grab a handful of spinach, or I'm looking at a piece of chicken, or I'm going to get a handful of raw almonds or anything like that, anything that you can grab your hand in or get a palm of. One handful is like one not generous handful where I got almonds coming, seeping between my fingers and all that stuff. But one
depends on how big your hands are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but one
portion control.
Yeah, but if I can fit all those almonds in my palm, then that's about 1 serving.
Cool.
So.
That's some helpful tips because a lot of times it's hard to say, what is balancing it? You can buy a scale, you can get a food scale that you can end up measuring, and
it can be inconvenient sometimes.
Right. Yeah, it's inconvenient. But as you continue, experience and along the way, a lot of times it just starts with anything. It comes natural. You get to where you start you get used to, oh, okay, I know what this is. I know what this amount is, and it just takes time. So, but those are some little tricks helpful tips. Okay, Mike, why don't you share a little bit with us what your day consists of? What's your meal plan?
Okay, so today this is what remains for me to eat, and I haven't made dinner. I'll probably make that when I get home. But I woke up this morning. I had 2 pieces of multigrain toast with half of a cut up banana on top with some almond butter, and then I went to go work out, and then I came back here, and then I had probably around 1.5 to 2 cups of rolled oats, and put some berries in there, 2 scoops or 2 tablespoons of flaxseed, and then also I put in a little bit of cinnamon, and so that's what I've eaten so far today. Snacked on a couple pretzel thins, but that's about it. So then for lunch, I'll probably have these veggies. So I got probably I'd say about 1 serving to 1.5 servings of broccoli, 1 to 1.5 servings.
So you break it up into ounces and servings?
Yeah. So if we were talking about serving,
portion control is key.
It's
correct?
very key. So if we're talking about servings, right? Also, I'm vegetarian. You guys may or may not have known that or witnessed that already and seen that, but there's no chicken, there's no anything. So I get a lot of my protein from lentils, legumes, eggs. I eat a lot of eggs and egg whites, protein supplementation as well. So there's a lot of other ways.
Because you have to be concerned with B12.
Got to be concerned with B12. Have to supplement.
Which is an animal product, so
right.
you want to make sure.
It's naturally in animal products. So because I don't consume any animal products, I have to make sure I'm supplementing that, especially for lean muscle mass and muscle growth and protein synthesis. So I have about 1.5 servings of broccoli, 1 to 1.5 servings of baked Brussels sprouts, and also on the bottom you can see about half a cup or 1 serving of baked carrots. Then I have about, if I were to cut this up, about 1 cup of baked sweet potato, and then probably 1.5 servings of raw carrots, which I really like to dip in the hummus. And this hummus it's really good. It's really healthy. It only has 5 total ingredients. It's got chickpeas, cilantro and jalapeno, tahini, olive oil, and lemon juice. And I have this is probably about 1 cup and 1 serving of cooked lentils, which is really good, especially for me. It provides me about, for every serving or 1 cup, it provides about 20 to 25 grams of carbs and 10 to 12 grams of protein.
Mike, why don't you share with us a little bit about what you learned in the class, some easy tips for a beginner that might want to go online and need something to follow to help them along the ways. What do you recommend, Mike?
So the easiest thing you can do is go online and just Google search total energy expenditure, and one of the first websites that'll pop up will be a TDEE calculator. And so this is what we have right now. We have our TDEE calculator set up right here. And so all you're gonna need is your age, your weight, your height, and then your activity level. Because like I said before, the activity level plays a big part in your total energy expenditure based off of a ratio between your RMR, which is your resting metabolic rate, and your activity level. Those two combined, multiplying those two, gives you your total energy expenditure for the day based off of your activity level, right? So if I'm a high athlete and I work out a lot, my body needs more and is going to be in a higher caloric demand and protein demand and carb demand and different macronutrient composition based off of someone or compared to someone who is relatively sedentary. So we're going to put that data in right now. So I'm going to use myself as a subject. So I'm 24 years old. I weigh 200 pounds. I am 6'4", not 5'5", and I'm not sedentary. I'm an athlete, so I work out around 2 times a day. Body fat percentage is optimal. You don't have to do this, but I know mine. Mine is about 7, and then you press calculate, and it tells me, wow, it tells me I need 4,100 calories a day, which is definitely not what I'm eating right now, which is probably why I can't put on as much muscle and as much weight as I want to. But
But
It
in
tells
there,
you.
that can also actually give you your whether or not you want to lose weight,
Right,
give
so-
you or gain weight, or so forth.
So
correct?
yes, exactly. So it breaks it down, breaks down your BMI, so your body mass index, right, which is simply just based off your height and your weight. So I'm at 24, which is normal weight. Then it tells me how many calories per day I need, how many calories per week I need. Then it tells me a breakdown of an athlete versus a heavy exercise person, a moderate exercise, a light exercise, a sedentary, or a basal metabolic rate. So in a sense, what it's also doing is telling me too, let's say, right, I'm working out a lot, let's say I have a light exercise day, then I can kind of manipulate my calories as well based off of my knowledge and understanding of how many calories I need. So that's another way to moderate things. Then it even goes down and breaks it down even more, which is really cool what this website does. It gives me carbs, it gives me low carbs, and it gives me higher carbs, right? So like I was talking about, if I want to maintain my body weight where it's at right now, this would be the macronutrient composition breakdown. Now if I wanted to cut, then I would go to the cutting and it would tell me, okay, moderate carb, lower carb, and higher carb days. Then it would tell me bulking. If I want to get bigger, I want to get stronger. If I want to increase overall mass.
And so that's TDEE.
TDEE. So if you literally just, let's show you right now. So if I just
Total
type in
daily energy expenditure.
TDEE and then calculate, it's the first thing that'll pop up on Google.
If you always go with your gut won't get going. Discipline, dedication, determination, desire defines differences. Can't, never could, won't, never will, and never, never, never. Those are some of my expressions, and it's just about your mindset. It's about lifestyle change. It's about wanting to be better, wanting to be your best. And yes, it's hard. Nothing in life is easy. But it's about choices. And once you get in a habit, get in a routine, stop watching all these commercials and seeing how they show pizzas and fast foods and finding choices. And it doesn't mean don't do it every once in a while. It's about balance. It's finding what works for you. And so if I can leave you with any pointers, the main thing is, you got that tiger inside of you. It's just all about bringing it out, whether or not you want to change, you want to work hard, you want to be the best that you can be. Stay focused, work hard, and discipline yourself. And occasionally have what you want to have. But it's about, over time, it's a process of staying with it and being consistent.